Okay, welcome back. I want to talk about something that I saw on the internet that struck me as a little weird, and it's concerning these Wilson X9 guns. Maybe it's because I'm not on gun forums that I hadn't heard anybody ask this question, but there's number 3. Somebody wanted to know if the Wilson 18-round magazines for the X9L guns, and I guess for the SF solid frame guns, they're X-frame magazine. They wanted to know if the 18-round magazines were less reliable than the 15-round magazines, and I just thought that was a pretty unusual question because it's never even occurred to me. The only magazine that I run in this gun with about 11,000 rounds through it are the 18-round magazines. I only have one 15-round magazine that came with the gun. So let me go ahead and let me show you a little bit of how this works. So you'll notice these magazines are labeled 1 and 2, and these are the actual magazines that I carry every day. And when I'm training, I load them up and I use them. So there's these two, and you can tell they're pretty worn, heavily worn on that with the shadows and the cloud cover. Maybe you can't tell. There's a fair amount of silver there on these things. But you'll notice feed lips are rock solid, no issues, no cracks, no problems. And these get banged around and carried every day, whether I'm, nightstand, truck, whatever. These are mag number 1 and mag number 2. I have 7 other training magazines. There's 3 here, and I pull them out, and I've used these. They're all numbered, so I can keep track of things. Do it for the video. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you'll notice these are in much better shape because these only really get used, at the range for practice. So they get dropped on this gravel. I mean, they're constantly dropped, but these are not carried. And these, in the right situation could pass for new. Then the only 15-round magazine that I even own is the one that came with the gun. And that is labeled as number 10. And, I don't ever use this for anything. So there's how the 15 round sits flush in there. I carry with 18 rounds. I mean, if I'm going to have a double stack 1911, I want to have as many rounds as I can. I don't want to have 15 rounds in the gun. I want to have 17 minimum, and these are 18 plus 1. So, with 11,000 rounds through this gun, I've had no problems with the magazines. And what's really impressive about these magazines from Wilson is, it's my understanding, Wilson never told me this directly. Well, they may have told me some of it. My understanding is these mag tubes are based off a Walther PPQ magazine tube, and they're designed for 9mm. And so they're much more durable. They're smaller, first of all, than 2011 magazines, but they're way, 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 way more durable than 2011 magazines. Mind you, I've said 11,000 rounds. Every time I reload, I'm dropping these things. I'm dropping these things in the gravel here at the John 1911 range. So I have never had to replace any of the first 2 magazines or the follow-on, the 8 training magazines. So really the 9 magazines that get used all the time, ever. Now, back in the 2011 days, in early 1911 days, that was impossible. You were always having to tune your magazines. And so that's one of the real appeals, besides the size, because the smaller magazine means you have a smaller grip. You have the choice to whether you want a small, medium, or large grip with the grip panels and the inserts or the back strap and all that on these X9 guns. Is the magazines are rock solid, and they're not $100, $120. Good Lord, some of these magazines. These are as durable as any other magazine. Now, let me give you a little insight into my personality and maybe some of my experience being an old-time 1911 guy. So I've got 10 mags here, 1 15 round and 9 18 rounds, and these are what I use all the time. Well, you know, when I first got this gun, reached out to Wilson, when we decided that we were going to run this thing as like a primary training, shooting, carry gun, like this is a real gun, we're really impressed by it. We ordered 20, I don't know, maybe 30, at least 20 spare magazines. Never touch. They're in the hangers. Like I could hang them on a display counter, and like, I mean, like it looks like they could go into a store. Never used a single one of them. At this rate, unless there's like some catastrophic event where all these mags start to fall off some kind of, you know, theoretical cliff, I probably have enough magazines to last the rest of my life. Now, a high level or high volume 2011 shooter with 10 magazines or maybe 20 magazines, he doesn't have enough magazines to last the rest of his life. It's just the nature of the beast. And so again, 18. I'm 18 round magazines. I don't fuck with 15 round magazines. I do not care. I'm 18 round all the time. I suggest you do the same. If you're interested in one of these X9 guns. If you want to see any more stories or pictures and links of stuff like this, including the Wilson X9L gun, please go to our website at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.